Hi, I'm Marcel with Guaranteed Rate, and in lieu of the crazy environment and world that we're in right now, one of the things a lot of people are inquiring about is how to effectively do a refinance. And so I wanted to talk to you about that for a little bit because with the environment that's going on right now, it's probably not the process that you think. And so let me explain that. So when all of this initially happened, interest rates dropped very quickly. In fact, on a lot of products, dropping into the lower threes and actually upper twos. But that was only around for a couple days. What quickly happened at that point, because interest rates dropped so quickly, is there was just a flood of volume that came into the entire mortgage system. Now, to kind of understand the capacity of the mortgage system, last year was a great year for the mortgage industry. In fact, the industry originated roughly around a little over $2 trillion in mortgages. However, right now, if you look at where interest rates were, the amount of mortgages that were outstanding were roughly about 11 trillion, and probably 70% of those would have been eligible to refinance. A lot of those people reached out to mortgage companies, their loan officers, and quickly the overall system became flooded. The capacity just wasn't there. And so you started seeing mortgage companies, in order to curb some of that capacity, artificially increase the interest rates because literally there was no way to get that much work done because of the amount of work that's involved in every single transaction. So if you're thinking about refinancing, a couple things to know. Right now, the volatility is absolutely crazy. There may be days where the interest rates are swinging by 1% or more, literally within a single day. And so what I'd probably suggest is that you get in touch with your loan officer, have your loan officer go ahead and set up some options for you and set up a trigger rate, meaning that whenever rates drop back down to that point where it's going to make sense for you to refinance, go ahead and at that point lock in the interest rate, and that's really where the mortgage process would start. Now, in terms of how quickly this can be done, mortgage companies are still very focused on helping buyers with their purchases, and so with that, refinances come kind of second to that, because on a refinance, people are already in their home, and purchases, they're kind of moving from one property to the other, so those do take precedent. So right now on a refinance, you do have to have a little bit of patience. It may end up taking 45, 60, possibly even 90 days in order to complete a refinance, but your mortgage loan officer should lock in the interest rate to allow for that. Now, what can you do? As soon as you start the process, utmost cooperation is so important. So anytime that the mortgage company is asking for documentation, whether it is pay stubs, tax returns, bank statements, survey, whatever is being requested, please upload that documentation as quickly as possible. The reason that's so important is because if interest rates dropped where it makes sense for you to refinance, probably interest rates dropped and a lot of other people are also in a position to where they can now refinance. So again, that's going to be a short-term flood of influx on volume on refinances, which means that mortgage companies are going to address and help those clients that have turned in their documentation. Because if the documentation isn't in, there are hard stops out there which keep the loan from moving forward. So right now, interest rates are extremely volatile. Yesterday, we actually had a day where interest rates increased over 1%. Why is it that interest rates increased that quickly? Because right now the federal government is talking about basically having some expenditures to help the U.S. population, whether it is a actual check that they're going to send out based upon certain criteria. They're talking about helping out different businesses, and in doing this, in essence, they are possibly going to be liquidating a lot of the treasuries. When money flows out of the treasuries and those are being sold, that's going to end up pushing up interest rates. But in any case, if there's anything I can answer for you, please let me know. Best number is 972-672-3246. If you are interested in refinancing, I can tell you interest rates will, with a high probability, come back down to where it can make sense, but you want to make sure that you're ready, that you've actually sent in your documentation, that you have that trigger rate set up, and that way everything can react very quickly when interest rates do come back down. In any case, give me a call with any questions. Be safe and take care. Thanks. Bye.